Hello, everyone. This is Dave with Moonride. Many of my viewers have asked just who is the man in the moon? And I want to know myself. I know maybe better than you, but I'm not sure I know everything. So today we're going to ask him just who he is, why he's here. Well, one thing that's interesting about the man in the moon is that the moon reflects light, right? So consider consider that this is largely a reflection, just as the moon is also reflecting us. It's sort of just get the feeling it's like a closer entity. Many people channel the Pleiades, for example, or other distant things. This is a much closer thing. It's much more of a reflection of who we are, as opposed to a reflection of who another being is. Yeah, there's a lot of mysticism in the moon. It's sort of that place, between worlds, right? It's sort of where you see lots of magic. Hmm. It's interesting to him that you're getting in touch with the moon. That is, that we have had people land on the moon, people go around the moon. So there's a really physical, direct connection with this sort of space, I should say, with the moon. Well, let me ask you this question, man. Why are you here? Why do you channel? Hmm. He's just saying like I'm like a new pair of eyes, right? It's not something so grand as many people might have channeling to be. Just another pair of eyes to show you something in a different light, a different perspective. Hmm. So I'm seeing a large painting, and first it's a canvas upon which we paint. So I'm not sure what this means, Spirit. Okay, he's showing you a beautiful painting, and in the middle of it is a moon. It's almost like part of a landscape. It's just part of our landscape. He is part of our landscape. And it is the sort of intuitive experience of humanity, right, in that space between worlds. So, Man in the Moon, can you tell me? Some people have asked why you're not a woman. Why the man? Aha. Okay, look, the moon is a feminine image. It is a feminine energy. And if you were to take it in its entirety, you might say that it is feminine per se. Man in the moon is just one aspect of the feminine, right? It is the aspect of the feminine that is healing and intuitive and helpful. It's the, wise man who has incorporated the feminine into his psyche and become a grandfather, like a very experienced grandfather. Just as women are considered more nurturing, and just as feminine is considered more nurturing, and that's the feminine in men and women, it's the feminine in all of us. So he has become a sort of grandfather character who has internalized the divine feminine and uses it to help and to heal. His energy is not an angry energy. It is an energy that is healing, understanding, and very caring. Also very interesting to note that the moon used to be part of the Earth. It broke off into this piece. So part of it is something that we've all forgotten. It's a piece of us that has been broken off and sort of still resides in a place where anything is possible. And again, also a space where the feminine was more powerful. Keep in mind, before history, women had a good deal more power because they could procreate, and they were respected for that procreation instead of being constantly controlled. And in a sense, he is like that, sort of a more untouched experience. Or I should say, just barely touched experience, because we have landed on the moon. So, Man in the Moon, is there any advice that you have for our viewers? I'm getting very much stay in your integrity, stay in your belief system. Don't go outside of that. There are a good deal of temptations that make us leave and want to become, less fair, if you will. But I just see a person with a sort of staff, and they're just very steadfast. So although the things may change, you have to stay true to yourself. Also, don't let people distract you and go out of your space and your reality. Anything else? Any other advice that you would give to us? Okay, you're saying this distraction you're hearing outside. It's a perfect example for me. Don't get distracted by that stuff. Just keep going with your integrity. Keep believing in what you know to be true, in your heart and your intuition. Part of what we're going through now is just asking people who are a little bit more balanced, who have these beliefs and integrities, to stay strong and to continue despite all of these distractions, of which there are many. There are so many things to distract us. Every time you turn on your laptop, every time you turn on your phone, there is a wealth of distractions with which you could, be distracted all day long. This is all really, really a test. You have to get a little bit past this and say, okay, what are my basic values? What is absolutely always important? So one example, just to put in Dave's life, is there were a few people who had been friends, and they didn't agree with Dave 100%. But when they got to the point of racism, that's when he said goodbye. I have no, there's for him, for Dave Johnson, not the Man in the Moon, for Dave Johnson, their racism is the limit, and there's no more discussing with such people. That is the power. That's the power that you have to have. And when you do that, when you separate from the bigot, again, you have to be, clear-headed. Don't be cruel about how you did that. It can bring up a lot of strong emotions, but don't become your enemy in the sense that, you should be compassionate. At the same time, say, I'm sorry, but this is unacceptable. That's the kind of strength that Man in the Moon sort of represents for me, is this power to stay in your integrity, right? And just be somewhat unmoving in your integrity. This doesn't mean you are inflexible and you don't listen to others and you don't offer compassion even to your enemy, but it does mean that you have some first principles which you do not wish to give up under any circumstances. If we continue to do this, we will do very well. This is the real message about all our political environment around us. Can you stay true to do what's right? And for those who are able to do this, he just tries to be a beacon along the way. He just tries to let people know and try to anticipate what's going to happen a little bit, but also to anticipate the spiritual power of what's really going on here. And if you can do that and just kind of keep being reminded of that, that is his real purpose. That's what he's trying to show us. A great change is taking place in our universe, if you will, that this kind of power that some people might consider more intuitive, Some people might say it's a feminine power. Again, that does not exclude men, right? But this kind of more moon-like power is 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 sort of changing the planet. It seems disastrous often and totally radical, but this is completely to be predicted. This is exactly the way that it's supposed to happen. Look beneath the surface of what's going on. We must understand what's going on socially, psychologically, and individually. We have to know how is this affecting us. How am I being changed? Am I staying in my integrity? Am I able to focus on what is important despite all these distractions? Well, one thing that we have seen is that the political environment is so dire that we have all come on board to start to act. And that isn't just political, that's personal, that's social, that's internal, all that stuff's going on. Again, I'm just getting that this is normal, this is natural. It might be really stressing you out. That's because it's supposed to. It's supposed to be this sort of attack which tries to distract you, and you're going to keep your eyes on the prize. You're just going to keep going and know that no matter what anybody says, no matter what the politicians around you are doing, no matter anything else, there are some things that are true, right? Racism is wrong, period. There are other things that you know that are actually true 100% of the time, and they will not change. And even if nobody in your family, nobody around you knows that, you know that, and Man in the Moon knows that. And in this experience, you might be a 12-year-old kid in the middle of nowhere. You still have this divine connection, and the divine connection is sort of represented now by this character, Man in the Moon. But there are other ways to be attached to the universe. I guess the point of this is that it may sometimes feel like you are alone. You are not alone. This will be true, and it will always be true. The moon will always be true. It will always be there. It will always be reflecting back to you what's really going on so that you can know and you can see it. He says that's all we need to know right now. Thanks so much for watching.